Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video and another conversation, interview, conversation. Interview sounds very formal now, doesn't it? But these videos, these calls are an opportunity well, it's an opportunity for me to connect with people who've been walking the medicine wheel with me recently over a number of years, and some quite a long time ago. And catch up and hear how people's journeys are, and also an opportunity for each person of May today to talk a little bit about their work and let you know who they are and how they work. So that if you feel a kind of resonance, and I think a lot of people will do as you're talking about your work and how you live and how your work and your life inform each other now. That people can migrate towards you and make use of your services as a healer. So, my pleasure. May Borroff, welcome. Welcome.
Hi.
Um, are you sitting in a box? Where are you? It's like the lines go back to an infinity point behind you. You're
I'm sitting in a portal.
in a portal.
I'm sat in a well insulated van.
You're in your live-in van.
Yes, living the van life.
And it's November. It's November in the UK in your comfy van, which I hope is really insulated. How is it working out? Is this your first
It's
winter?
great.
Yeah.
It's really great.
What part of the country are you in? Tell us a little bit about where you are.
Yes, I'm in the UK and I am near Leicester at the moment, which is near a wonderful park called Bradgate Park, or I think they call it Braggett in
Right.
Leicester.
Okay.
And it has an incredible hill with an interesting folly monument. Lovely energies there and lots of herds of deer. Okay.
So maybe you could share a little bit, May, about your journey, what attracted you, brought you to shamanism, to a shaman's path, the medicine wheel, your healing journey, your life, wherever you would like to start.
Okay. So I think my life comes in three parts, and the first section of my life, I grew up in Sherwood Forest. I was very lucky. Um, my dad became a ranger for Sherwood Forest Country Park, and they decided to rent the only house in Sherwood Forest Visitor Centre. And I moved there when I was 2. And I think that was a very um, important stage of my life to be so deeply surrounded by an ancient forest. And I think there's 1,000 ancient oak trees over 600 years old, which I feel like I've just been steeped in their presence and the energy of the forest. Then my midsection of life was art college, going to university to study fine art. I loved rock music, and there's nothing particularly special about that area of my life. Everything ground to a halt when I finished my degree, and I started to have symptoms of endometriosis that worsened and worsened, and it's very crippling pain and torturous. And if you don't know what it is, it can, it just feels like there's something really wrong. So I went to the doctors. I changed doctors because I wasn't getting the help that I needed. I had surgery. It made the pain even worse. They gave me a treatment for the endometriosis and it made it even worse. The pain was just extraordinary. And I felt like I wanted to leave my body because my body wasn't a safe place to be. And it took me to be in that state to reluctantly try energy healing. So there's a really lovely lady in a village fundraising thing for my friend who was running the London Marathon, and I thought I'd everything on her sheet um, explained how her Reiki could help me. So I went once a week, and she put hands on my belly for an hour, and it changed my life. It got me off the tramadols and made me well enough to work. And it also opened up my perspective of the world, and that there is an energetic element that I was very, very motivated, more than any other point in my life, to just try and understand what this energetic nature of us is, and also how that relates to the world, our health. So I've been on a long healing path with my illness, and seeing that energy medicine can really shift the foundations of the makeup of who you are, which has a sort of trickle up effect. Elements of your life improve, and health just kind of improve from the feet up. I tried affirmation work, but I think I had a lot of resistance to that. I looked at Louise Hayes, but it didn't take me as far as energy work. It's been an up and down journey on my healing path. A friend introduced me to a friend who started to teach me the principles of shamanic healing in 2015, and I had healing with her, Jeannie Rogers, and it was the first time in my life that I didn't feel like I was living on my nerves after I had a healing session with her. And I could see that shamanic healing was very different to Reiki healing. That Reiki healing is a kind of all over feel good feeling when you have a Reiki session, and you come away with that glow, and then that glow finds ways to work through your life and bring things up to your attention that need working on to help you to move forward. Whereas I felt like the shamanic healing very specifically worked on a portion of the self. And after that healing session, you come away feeling different. And you can't quite put your finger on it, but you feel better. So I carried on with my work, life, learning about healing, having those shamanic healing experiences, and connecting with friends on that path. And at some point I came away from that, and I was doing all my own self-work, and then I got to a point where I just had an extraordinary episode of pain with my endometriosis. It was really, really tough. I felt like I'd run a marathon, and I was just laying on a bed all day. And I knew that there was some deeper work that was showing itself, that I needed much, much deeper, specific work. And I felt like I needed to find a healer that could help me to give it everything I had to make that healing session work. And it needed to be somebody that I believed in. And this is going to sound funny, but it's almost like I was looking for somebody on a par with a wizard. So that, because I believe in the power of placebo as well. There are studies, placebo, it is a healing element that's vastly overlooked. And I thought, if I found somebody that felt like a wizard, then I could also placebo affect myself into empowering that healing session, whatever was going to happen. And then, yeah. And you seem to meet all of the criteria.
I'm your wizard. I was your wizard. How I had my wizard beard then as well.
I've never normally said that to you, but now that time has come, yes, you're my wizard.
I've heard people come out with some very curious things eventually. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this, the capacity to believe, as you say. Sometimes you think, well, if you're looking from a kind of physical layer up, then it wouldn't make sense that changing your belief or kind of working with your beliefs changes your physical reality. But that's very much this kind of affirmation work, and you mentioned Louise. Um, and I think affirmations work fantastically for a lot of people in a lot of situations. In
Mm.
other situations, they don't. Um, for example, where we've got a subconscious pre-existing commitment for whatever reason to maintaining some self-limiting pattern of behavior in our life, which could be thoughts, feelings, things we do. It could be maintaining a particular balance in our body that presents as some kind of sickness, or dis-ease.
Mm.
It can be some kind of commitment towards that that makes no sense to the rational left brain. Why would I do that? But it may have been the most creative way that a younger version could create some sort of defense against what was going on, even if it was just feeling overwhelmed and needing to shut down. Um, and our beliefs, we say this stuff all the time. Our beliefs create our reality. But usually, people, especially if we have a resonance with more of a consensus consciousness, within the consensus, you have to change what's happening at the physical level in order to change everything else. But working at the energetic level, it's like that. It's like looking at a pyramid. I suppose we would say that you work at the top of the pyramid, and the energetic shift, which happens immediately, creates change in our thoughts, in our beliefs, in our overarching cosmology that we're subscribing to, how we think everything works. Why is this all happening to me? How is this happening to me? Is a better question than why. And then it begins to change the way we actually feel, and at the densest level, and the widest part of the pyramid, it begins to work at the physical level, the physical body, our relationship with money, people, all of these things in the world. Yeah. But we're used to driving from the bottom end of that wedge, aren't we?
Yeah.
So you've been doing this. You've been with just thinking about what we said about your endometriosis at the time. You've been first, I guess, looking at different therapies. You'd mentioned affirmations, which are above the kind of the physical level,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to a point, and you said you had a period of time with incredible pain,
Mm-hmm.
and it, it's not. I think it's an important thing to say. It's an important thing to say well that often it's the crisis that opens the door to a new opportunity. But for some reason, sometimes we get to the crisis before we can open to a possibility that might help us even see that it exists because we're somehow still working at the same level. So
Absolutely.
started to work. We worked. You found your wizard. You're thinking
Yeah.
Gandalf, younger looking wizard, younger wizard, younger wizard. Wizards are they're timeless. Then what happened? How did this work? Did it help? Did it just focus on endometriosis? Did your life change? Did your perspective change? See different things differently? What happened next?
The healing session was extraordinary. And my response to the healing session, as that process was happening, was very interesting because I didn't respond how I was used to responding in Reiki, which just is about relaxing and relaxing down. and going into deeper states sometimes, seeing colours and visions, and it's just this whole relaxing phase. But I could feel my body responding to the process that you offered, in ways of, like, you just really gently holding space, taking me back to the energetic root of all the stories that I was telling you about, my struggles with the pain, and then going into the healing session, into the illumination, just my body responding in a completely different way to a healing session. I could feel my breathing patterns change. I could feel the need to sound out feelings, and I could feel my hands, my body starting to go through some kind of a moving process, some need to move, and I had to move with it, and like I could feel my hands crumpling up. I could feel myself stopping breathing, and I can really clearly remember you saying something along the lines of, breathing is for the living. Remember to breathe, keep breathing.
Really.
Yeah. And definitely feeling a huge release of some kind of a charge within me that I didn't even know was held there. And as the session progressed, I felt this incredible peace that was very, very powerful and very tangible and expansive and blissful, very rock steady and solid, very there. And so it really moved me what a powerful healing it was. And the feeling that I came away with was so much more peace. And I think my healing path and my healing process, yeah, it's addressed the pain. But what I wasn't aware of is a huge, all pervading presence of a type of oppressive anxiety. And when, after I'd had that healing session with you, there was a huge, amazing lift of that kind of oppressive energy, that oppressive feeling of anxiety. It really freed me up a great deal. And I'm just trying to think back. The process of my life has still gone through some ups and downs, but there was more of me than the turmoil present. There was more of me. And that has been really valuable to me. And I couldn't wait to learn with you, really. Because I just thought to experience more of that releasing of layers of the oppressive anxiety, I wanted to know what that was like. Yeah.
It's interesting listening to what you're saying because for me it describes experiences that a lot of people will seek out the medicine wheel program because they're looking for an opportunity for greater self-healing. Maybe they've had a taste of something and they want more. and sometimes I think of a friend of mine also, and she said that in the beginning she sought out the medicine world because she wanted the personal healing. And she didn't think that she could be a healer, she could be a shaman, she could be of service to others. She knew she needed it for herself. And
Yeah.
she got about halfway through the program. We get to the north of the medicine wheel and working with the archetype of the hummingbird, the colibri, where for so many people, the opportunity there is that everything changes in the way we see things and we start to connect with who we can be rather than who we have been. The first half of the journey is just unloading all of the pain, the wounds, the self-limiting beliefs created by our experiences. And she said it was at that point that she realized for herself, she said, I could do this for other people too. And then that's what she did. She went on to do that. So some people come in the beginning because they want to be shaman. And it's important to know that the path of the shaman involved always doing your own personal work first.
Mm.
That idea, I think, comes more from the North American tradition, but the idea described as being like a hollow bone. Yeah, one of these big,
Yes.
that's big enough, one of the big bones in the bone. And if you've got all the marrow out in the middle of it, and you look through, you could see through without there being anything in the way. And it's
Yes.
our beliefs, our values, our projections, what we think we know. We're so good at telling ourselves, I know. The number of times I've said to my kids or to someone else, trying to be helpful, you do, I know. And it's like that. It's literally like the hand coming up. Don't tell me. I already know. And I'm so full of everything I know. And you have to unload it. But it's also such a beautiful process to watch as well as to participate in. And the way people look physically and also the way they behave and seem, they come together at the beginning of the medicine wheel journey, south direction, west, north, and east of the medicine wheel. And then they get to the end. And it's, for me, it's always like sitting in a room with different people.
Oh, yes.
So you mentioned in that experience you had with me about sound in your body wanting to move. And I know that, I don't know if that experience connects with the other work that you do, but I know that sound and moving with your bodies is important to you and part of you and your work. You want to tell us a little bit about that for people that inner dance? Am I right?
Yes. Do you know that's a really extraordinary observation because when I started training in a dance, which I just thought I was adding another string to my bow of healing modalities, when I underwent, I'd only been to one in a dance session before I started the facilitator training. I just thought there was something very interesting about it, and I wanted to know how, when I laid down and listened to the music, or had the music in my environment, that my body would start to do this process. Muscles tense up and release, and grips, and the patterns of breathing change, and going on that, almost like going through a prolonged illumination session in a dance. So, and it's made me look back at that healing session with you, where it's the first time I experienced a somatic release of like a release of a charge that was stored in my body. So the journey that I've been on within a dance is another kind of wizard that I have a lot of respect for is Katie Holland.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
I don't know if you've met her.
I know her name. Maybe you've mentioned it. So I don't think I've come across it directly, or maybe on your social media feed.
So
I,
I met her at Barefoot Festival and did some Bollywood dancing. She did a Bollywood dancing workshop, which I really enjoyed. It was really fun. Um, and then we got chatting later at the festival over a bookstore, over the book, The Celestine Prophecy.
oh yeah, okay.
So that's always an eye opener to me. If I know that somebody's read that book and this kind of the stages of spiritual insights and what that is walking towards. So I've always had kind of like a respect for her, and she comes over to the UK quite frequently. Um, and I had the opportunity to train with what she was teaching. She was teaching access bars, which is quite interesting, and also inner dance. So it was a 5 day intensive. We did um, 10 sessions within 5 days. And it was like experiencing the illumination session each of those times. Um, and having these somatic releases, a sense of energies moving, shifting, and changing, having realizations, having huge emotional releases. It's a process that starts with your eyes closed, laying on the floor in a corpse posture,
Yeah.
shavasana, and then you just allow what you need to do to unfold in that environment. Um, and it shifted layers and layers and layers from me in those 5 days. Um, and once I had the training, then I started to work on my own soundscapes, and I've been offering sessions for about a year and a half now. Absolutely love how I feel like everything that I've trained in is present in that room when I hold in a dance, combined with my musical gift. I'm quite a musical person, but I've never found the right application.
Oh,
So it all comes together. I can feel the presence of the archetypes within me moving and shifting within me and helping there shift the energy in the room.
you just work with individuals, groups, or how does that work?
I have worked with individuals, but I think my passion is working within groups. I think another important factor that I've learned from the illumination sessions that you've taught us is how to be present with people, and just the power of being present with people and deepening as a facilitator into that process. Because when you were training us to do the illuminations, you helped support that emphasis about being present with people, helping them to feel safe and not judging them, not offering any judgment on their situation or the stories, just to be present and to be with them as they go through their own healing process, and to breathe with people, to watch the breath and track the breath.
It's a great way to connect with someone, isn't it? To breathe in the same way that they breathe. Feel how they breathe, and you begin to experience at the somatic level the feelings within the body. And also, this is like a resonance of the mind. Start to have thoughts and pictures and ideas. I find that aren't necessarily exclusively mine, but you begin to tune in with the person that you're working with. I love that that's important. That's really important to me. I love that you bring that into the work. But you work also as a shaman, as like a shamanic healing, and that I guess is more on a one-to-one basis.
Yes.
work in person and by distance?
I'm preferring by distance via the internet presently, just because of my roaming nature. So yeah, I prefer online sessions, which um, again are really powerful.
They are, aren't
Just
they?
as powerful as being in the same room with somebody. In a way, it's nice because they can be in their own home, in their own space as well. I've had really wonderful feedback as well from those sessions, so it lets me know that I'm doing my job, I'm doing my work.
Um, it's something that I want to ask you, and I'm asking everyone that I do these conversations with at the moment, just to see what comes. I know we may,
Okay.
if a lot of people listening will have heard about shaman and power animals.
Okay.
People talk about different things, spirit guides, spirit animals, power animals, and different things. But if thinking about the world around you and knowing, you're out there, you're living in nature as well.
Yeah.
It's just there's kind of a couple of inches of rubber on the tires that separate you from the ground, from the earth. But if there was an animal you felt a special affinity with, or a kind of animal or something, it spoke to you as a person or as a shaman, what animal or animals would it be?
I would say first and foremost, it's a group of um, bird. It's all birds is the best way to put it.
All birds.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna hijack this a little because I've got chickens.
Yay!
Everyone who sees me on Facebook will know about these chickens because
Yeah.
it's chickens and kittens. They're all doing things. Um, so I'm interested when you say all birds. I'm hoping you include chickens in there because they've got quite interesting personalities.
Absolutely.
What is it about birds then for you? If there was a thing you could say, what is it about them collectively that you relate to?
I love them, and I think their calls are extraordinary. The calls and the sounds. Chickens have a lot of um they show you their sentience with their I'll start doing bird impressions now.
Yes.
But you chickens tell you a lot by their sort of kind of they're pointing your attention to something. It might be themselves, but they're something, something I'm concerned about something.
You don't spend time with them like any animal. If you don't spend time with them and your experience is only from a distance or through books or telly, um, whatever, then you only have that experience. Um, which kind of leads me on. I know you mentioned some other animals when we were chatting before, and there was a particular kind of rep.
Yes.
What
So yeah. Um.
is the rep?
So from a very young age, I've had quite scary dreams with snakes. So I do think it's a power animal because it's been so present in my dream world.
It is.
It's a symbol of something in my subconscious, unconscious that presents itself at the most unexpected times. I don't know anybody with snakes. The closest I've come to connecting with snake and serpent is on the medicine
Hmm.
wheel as the first archetype in the medicine wheel. Um,
friends. Well, I have a few friends.
I actually had a really interesting snake dream that was situated in our class. And
Okay.
there was a woman that was ready to teach me something in our classroom, in the mushroom room at Gloucester. And she had this interesting looking cube that had markings on it, and it was full of potential, some kind of amazing potential. But at the side of her, she had a whole bunch of snakes sat next to her, lots of serpents coiling, and I was getting megally freaked out by them. And as far as I can remember, I think I held it, and I was in fear, and then the snake knew wasn't happy about me gripping it, so it was gripping around its arm, and I got in this sort of deadlock with this serpent, and I felt that in the dream I would have been taught these incredible something in this cube, but because I got wrapped up in my fear around the serpents, it it's like I wasn't ready. I think she moved on. It was all about the serpents then. So
Well, you know how we were saying crisis presents us with the opportunity, or at least crisis presents us with the opportunity to choose the opportunity rather than what we're expecting. What if the cube was your dream's way of drawing you into the dream, but it was your experience of the serpents and it brought up your fear? That was the opportunity within the dream. I don't know. Interesting. Link
yeah,
chickens and getting to know them by being around them with serpents and snakes.
mm,
For me, I've also not grown up around snakes
mm,
and feel very wary of them. I think a lot because I don't know them. Although their snake serpents have such a place as an archetypical um, presence and image, energy,
yeah,
apologies. Um, it does get stirred up by lots of different things. And I'm often imagining that they might be living close to me somewhere that I haven't checked. So this is kind of almost primal urge to protect myself. And when I'm
yeah,
check into rooms in lovely family run guest houses in the Andes in Peru, at the Sacred Valley. I don't tell everyone, or I am telling everyone this because we're putting this on YouTube, aren't we? Picked up the bedspread on the corner of the bed to have a look underneath the bed just to make sure there isn't a snake there.
yeah,
I think it's crazy too because I understand how belief creates reality. And it's almost like if ever there was going to be a reptile, a snake, or a serpent under my bed, it's there because somehow I participated in creating it.
mm,
And I don't want to do that. But I love that I have this experience, this thought, because it reminds me to be conscious of what I'm creating. And so much of what we create comes from our unconscious, not just from our conscious. So I love that this stuff comes out in dreams. Yeah, and we can kind of share and talk about this.
yeah, and they have come out in reality as well. I have met snakes in Cornwall.
Mhm.
So as a child, my family pointed out as I was walking ahead um, that it was Pendine Lighthouse. I was walking along the track, and then my parents were like, "Look, look, look!" And I looked behind me, and I just stepped over an adder without realizing. um, and I've seen a dead adder laying in a field near an old recreated Iron Age roundhouse. And most recently, walking away from my favourite stone circle, Boscarnoon, near Land's End, there was a coiled adder right in front of me, and it just triggered me to go, look, look, look. And I thought it was a toad, and then it just started morphing and transforming, and then just zipped off really fast off into a hedge. Yeah, so I feel like the serpents have popped up unexpectedly in life, in real life, and in my dreams. Yeah,
Lost your path.
I've
Literally.
lost my path. Where do I start off from?
Lost your path. They crossed your path. Don't lose your path.
Oh, yeah, it crossed my path. Yeah.
Nothing is ever truly lost. Rumi said something about that. I remember this other line from Rumi. I just want to share with you when he's talking about
Yeah.
the way that sound and dance inform you. Rumi said this thing. I have heard Gabrielle Roth repeat this at the beginning of one of her recordings. Rumi says, "Dance and let everything shatter." And that's the great thing about dance. And music helps us to dance. Some people dance just inside. They're listening to the music, they're dancing inside their head, and it never really comes out of their body. If you When you find yourself in those moments where you're dancing as if nobody's watching, or maybe as if everybody's watching, and there's something really liberating in the movement of your body, and the music gets you there.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
we can tag a link in the video to some of your one of your sound recordings, your soundcasts.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm on Mixcloud.
We'll write it in so they can copy or click the link,
Oh,
and
lovely.
uh, then they can go and they can kind of get a flavor for your dance energy medicine,
Oh, yes.
the energy medicine practices that you do. Yeah, that would be good. And yeah, I can have a listen to the one you choose to share with us too.
Okay. There is one in particular that I really love. I love them all. Every time I make an inner dance soundscape, I always think they're the best. And I really like to introduce interesting elements that can offer activation or healing in some way. And one of the inner dance soundscapes that I've created that's on Mixcloud is it features quite heavily the call of the nightjar bird, which I love very dearly. I've From childhood, I've heard them calling in the summer. They travel all the way from Southwest Africa to nest in Sherwood Forest to breed. And there's something extraordinary about the frequency of their call. There's nightjars and there's also blackbirds. When blackbirds make that chink 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 noise, it seems to do something to me. So I feature that in my soundscapes.
So we'll put the link to that in the notes under the video, um, and people can go and look at that. If anyone listening or watching wants to contact you to ask about inner dance, working with you, about shamanic healing sessions, and any other work that you do, what's the best way to contact you, Nathan? By phone, WhatsApp, email, social media? The
I
link
think the best way is through Facebook.
to Facebook. Okay, so we'll put your Facebook link in there.
Uh, so if you look up Inner Dance, which is all one word, Inner Dance with May,
Yeah.
that's a great way to find out if where my events are and where you can attend my group Inner Dance healing sessions. And I've also revamped my healing page, which I've had for a long time. under various guises, and I've now come to the name True Self Alchemy.
True Self Alchemy. I didn't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I remember the old name, but let's stay with the new.
Yeah.
Right, thank you so much. Oh, we have one more
Thank
thing
you.
to do before we close. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope it stays nice and warm where you are. Your van looks much more insulated than mine was. Mine was nice in the summer because it had windows all the way around. It was the ambulance minibus conversion. It's very cold in winter. Oh, cold again.
Yeah. The
Thinking,
windows become coldiators.
cold the and I hope to see you in person soon.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be good next time I do that. And today, 28th November 2024, is Thanksgiving Day in North America. So maybe it's just a nice opportunity to wish everyone celebrating Thanksgiving a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
With those you love, um, or those you can love, and be in good company for the day. And just, I hope that there are many things in every person's life that you can find to feel grateful for. Gratitude, they say, is gratitude. It rhymes. Gratitude is a powerful experience, and often we don't think about creating it in advance. We experience it after something happens, and the so many of the roots of these Andean traditions that inform our work as shaman um, come from the living relationship with everything around us, including the Pachamama, this sense of the mother provider earth, from her elements, all the elements our body have created. And so she gives us everything we need to be born. She provides rich soil for our crops to grow in, for cattle to graze on, all of these things. To thank her in advance for what she's going to provide later on. So I wish you all very happy, peaceful, and wonderful Thanksgiving. And and hopefully more vegetables on the plate than turkey.
It's
So
great to be grateful. Mm.
turkeys are such amazing animals to watch in the wild. Well,
Oh, yes.
so thank you for watching. Do watch the other videos, the other recordings. Some are short, some are long. They all are interesting. And hopefully everyone's going to come together when we've got all of the videos we're planned in, and we're going to do a little panel conversation. So I hope you can be part of that, and we'll do that then as well. I'll let you know about the dates for that. And you'll find all of May's contact details in the notes underneath the video. So do get in touch. Listen to the music, right? And
Oh, yes.
everything shuts up. So much love, and we'll see you next time.
So much love.